Hello, everyone. I was talking to you guys muted. So what I was trying to say is that my name is Georgette Truan. I work for Mr. Davis, for the law office of Mr. Davis, and also I am the co-host for Relatives Fight CPS and Fight CPS with Miss G. I am covering today for Lisa Sanders, and I would like to discuss with you guys today, social workers and social workers. Role, I believe, or should be. However, that's not what happens in our world nowadays. Social workers are mainly after to take children from parents, from innocent parents, and place them in a foster home without a court warrant, without a court order, without anything other than their own assumption about the parent or about the mother or the father or what have you. I have a good friend of mine. We grew up together. She got married. She has a child, and her daughter calls me auntie, so I consider her my niece. She graduated recently from UCLA, and she wanted to make a difference, and she wanted to go in the social worker field. Now, she went to apply, and what happened was she took an assessment, like they gave her like a psychiatric assessment. And the supervisor told her that she can't hire her because her test or results came back as 92% compassionate. So she told her, we can't hire compassionate individuals here to do this type of work. And my niece asked her why. And she told her, because you're compassionate. So my niece said, she has a smart mouth. So she said, so you're telling me that you hire narcissistic, sociopathic traits to handle their job description? And she said, so, yeah, you could say that. So my niece was living it. She was upset. She talked to her mom. Her mom called me. I met her. We talked about it. She couldn't believe that the supervisor told her that. And also, they told her that she shouldn't consider to have children because she would lose her job. So basically, what they do is they hire social workers to, oh my God, it's just beyond me. They hire social workers who have narcissistic, sociopathic traits to do what they do. And no wonder they actually do it with a smile on their face, because they have no remorse, they have no compassion, they have no understanding. They just, all their goal is to take children. That's it. And then say the social worker has a child, right? And then she comes to this realization, now that she's a mom, she understands what parents go through. And then say the social worker, stands up for what's right, and then she's going to lose her job either way. So it's kind of, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. So I have no respect for social workers. I personally do not have any respect for social workers, for judges, for DAs, for court pretenders. I call them court pretenders because they are court pretenders. They're not court-appointed attorneys to help the public. They actually pretend to be attorneys because they don't do anything right to help the public. They either don't return anybody's calls, they play games, they tell the parents, if you don't do this, then you're not going to see your children again. The parents, of course, with desperation, they do what they tell them to do. And then guess what? They're not reunified with their kids. When you go to a social worker building to have visits or visitation with your children, all they do is stick you in a room. That's it. Stick you in a room like you're in jail, like somebody's visiting you in jail. And the child is awkward, the mom is awkward, the parent is awkward, kind of like, what is this? You're being watched to be with your daughter or your son, like you're being treated like a criminal. Literally a criminal. That's all it is. And when the parent is a good parent, they have no drug record, they have no criminal record, they actually have a stable home, they have a stable job. But all of this because of allegations. Allegations. Most likely, the allegations is coming from an ex-mother-in-law. It's coming from an ex-husband because he doesn't want to pay child support. It's coming from an aunt or an uncle or a friend, an ex-friend, to retaliate against you, or because they don't like your spouse, or they don't like your decisions taken moving the children to another state, or whatever the case may be. But anybody can report any false accusations, anything. And the social worker goes, removes your child, and then they say you're unfit. The social workers are what? Maybe 23, 21, 24, and they have their opinion of you. They diagnose you as crazy if you cry for your child. They take your child away because you took your child to the hospital, for instance, because you're concerned. So, of course, DHS gets involved, and then social workers contact you, take your child because you took your child to the hospital. They say you're unfit to protect. However, if you're unfit to protect, why would you take your child to the hospital? You see, in my opinion, just because a social worker that worked in that field comes to the realization that, they're doing things, maliciously, and now that she's a parent and she understands, or he understands, whatever the case may be, that, hey, let's make a change. But where were you with all this was going on to begin with? You already assumed that the parents are bad because of your own, whatever that was going on in your head. To me, I have no respect for social workers because they do not have the knowledge nor the compassion or the capability to actually be human. They're not human, because you have to be bankrupt from yourselves to smile at a parent who is crying when you remove their children from them, and you have the audacity to say the parent is unfit because they cried and that they need psychiatric help. In my opinion, the social workers are the one who need psychiatric help. Sydney Rodriguez, she said, yes, young workers and normal mothers will cry for their kids. Yeah, normal mothers would cry, which is every mother I spoke with is a normal mother. I agree with you, Sydney. And Monica Himero, I love you, Monica. She said, respect is earned, not freely given. And Emily Lawson said, I was denied the training to learn how to address my grandson's emotional issues. I was asking for help, and social services moved my grandchildren to a non-relative foster home. Title IVE requires social services to provide and have full documentations of all preventive services offered to a family before removing a child from their family and placing the child in foster care. Only if a social work services can provide paper documentations regarding the preventive services were offered to preserve. Now, this really hurts. Yes, Emily. Social workers are not trained properly. And like I said earlier, their goal is to remove the kids because they want to increase the funding. Now, right now, what social workers are doing and telling grandparents is that you have to be a foster parent to have your grandkids placed with you. Okay? If you don't become a foster parent, then you are not deemed fit to have your grandkids live with you. Why? Because they want to control you. Since when a grandparent had to be a foster parent to have their grandkids stay with them? What they do is they set rules in place to accommodate their needs, to go around the rights of humans' rights, parents' rights. So in order for them to do that, they have to set their own rules. They're not trained to be human, right? They're not trained to act like humans, because that's not going to help them. That's not going to help them. So what they do is they do their own thing, then bully you to do what they want, in order for you to see the kids be placed with you. It is, in my opinion, social workers do this maliciously. However, they make excuses that it's not maliciously done because they know that if it's proven that they've done it maliciously, they will be sued. Okay, so it will go to a civil lawsuit against them. However, I've heard social workers tell me that they're untouchable because they're above us, humans, parents. Why do they say that? Because judges who wear black robes and judge in the courtroom believe the social workers. That's why. To me, in my opinion, if you're a judge, don't have the black robe fever, I call it, but judge fairly. But if you're going to believe what the social worker is saying blindly, then you're deemed unfit to be a judge. I can't stand any of them because none of them are actually being truthful about anyone. I have seen social workers hand children to abusive fathers. Why? God knows. I have no idea. The mother calls for help. The mother is a domestic violence victim. The report goes under the mother's name, remove the children from the mom, give them to the dad who actually beat the mother. And then they say the mother is unfit because she failed to protect. Yet she called the police. There's so much they accuse mothers of. I get 92% of calls who are mothers. And this week it increased to 95% calls who are mothers. They are being accused of things they didn't do. All because social workers lie. They lie, they make up stories, they write false information in their documents, and it leaves the parent wondering as what the hell happened? Why aren't my kids with me? Why? Because a teacher reported a bruise on the child's knee while the child was playing? However, if the abusive parents who has the placement of the kids or custody of the kids go to school with bruises on their face, on their head, and beaten up from their dad, right? The school doesn't do anything. But all of the sudden, the child was playing, hurt himself or herself. The mother takes him to the hospital. She's being held responsible. How easy is this job for them? It's so easy. Why? Because they're given immunity, right, to do what they want. People say, how are we going to make a change? Well, Mr. Davis always talks about voting judges out, right? We need to make a change. Because those depleted souls are useless to society. And that's why I have very zero respect for all of them. Sydney Rodriguez said, they said that it was my fault for being in an abusive relationship because I allowed it. Did you allow it, Sydney? You need to tell me a little bit more. Emily Lawson said, as we walked out of court on June 17th, the social worker seemed to take pleasure in my family pain, laughing and giggling while speaking to others who attend court with her. She said, it does not matter what you say. A judge will always believe what social workers say. Yeah. Emily, I love you for saying that, baby girl. You are absolutely right. I have seen social workers laugh at a mother's pain when they took her children from her in court. And they were greeting the father, who was the abusive party, mind you not. They were greeting him with hugs and congratulating him. I have seen a father do this to a mother in court who lost custody of her kids while she was crying in front of a social worker and they were both laughing at the mother's pain. The sad part about it is that what you're telling me is nothing new. That's exactly what they do. In my opinion, all social workers are scumbags. In my opinion, they're useless. Judges are useless, and court pretenders are useless. And what does the DAs do? Who knows what they do, other than not doing the right thing. I have no respect for either or none of them. Gina said, every one of my workers don't even have kids, but they judge my parenting. One day they will, and I hope they come to their senses and realize that what they do is wrong. Every dog has their day. God bless you, Gina. I love you for saying that too. Every dog will have their day. They have been getting away with this, Gina, for a very long time. They were given immunity when and it's extended, increased funding from Bill Clinton in 1997 act that he put in place. In 2013, when Hillary Clinton was in office with Obama, she increased the funding and give them more immunity. So what it is all about control and power. That's all it is. Control and power. And they're not going to hire anyone that has children. They're not going to hire anyone that has compassion or common sense, because that's not how they operate. They are useless on so many levels, in so many ways. And that's why I have absolutely zero respect for them. To me, if somebody says I'm a DA, or if somebody tells me I'm a social worker, if somebody tells me I'm a judge, I look at them not because, they're great. No, I look at them with no respect. I wouldn't shake a judge's hand. I wouldn't come near to a social worker, and I wouldn't come near a DA or a court appointed attorneys, who I always call them pretenders. None of them do the right thing. All of them go home to their own families, right? If they have any. But I'm talking about like their siblings, mom and dad, uncle, aunts, whatever. They don't care about you. They don't care about your kids. They meet together and they laugh about you. Oh, do you believe what the mother did when we took her kids? Ha 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 ha. I've seen it and I've heard it. When I speak that passionately about them, it's because I've seen it. I've heard it. They're disgusting to me to laugh over a mother's pain. They're useless, disgusting, and bankrupt from themselves. They're without souls, literally without souls. Monica said they'll use any excuse. Yes, they will use any excuse, Monica. They will use any excuse when they write your name. When they miswrite your name in the paperwork, for example, they will say, "Oh, the mother's name is Erica Blunt," right? You're not Erica Blunt. You're Monica. So what they do is they copy and paste. They copy and paste, right? Somebody else's information. They copy and paste it into the reports. Does that mean they've done their due diligence, right? No, they haven't. They're lazy. They want to go home early. They want to see what next soul they're going to devour. That's all they do. A coward will always make excuses, right? A coward will always make excuses for his or her actions. They will never take accountability for what they do. That's exactly what CPS, social workers, and also court appointed attorneys and judges and DAs. They're all useless, Monica. Sydney, She said it's a legal human trafficking agency. That is correct, baby girl. It is a legal human trafficking agency. But instead of human, let's put children, because that's what they do. They traffic children. Because I have seen so many kids in foster homes who were molested, abused, killed by the foster parent, but yet the 11 reports that were made on the foster parent from a mother who was concerned about her children being abused when she sees them, meaning she saw bruises, marks, and they told the mother, if you make another report, we will restrict your visitations or remove it altogether. So what does the mother do? If she reports, she's going to lose the 2 hours or 1 hour she sees her children a week. But yet she wants to protect her children. They put the parent in a position where they don't know what to do while their rights are being stripped away from them. I don't care if a social worker came to the realization after she had kids that, oh, what was going on was illegal. Well, did you not know it was illegal when you were doing it? But you come to the realization now and say, oh, now that I'm a mom, I know exactly, it's just, it wasn't done right. Yeah, but what happened to the 10 years you were in CPS services? What happened to those 10 years or 5 years or 20 years? What happened to those? But yet I've seen a lot of social workers, right, who are not working with the department anymore say, it's kind of sad when they remove kids from the foster mother because the foster mother is adapted to the children and the children adapted to the foster mother, right? But how was it when you stripped the kids from the actual mother? How is that not painful for the children and the mother? But yet you're siding with the foster mother? That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me. It still doesn't, and it will never make sense to me. You remove the children from their comfortable home because of allegations. You're siding with the foster mother because she's adapted to the children and children adapted to her? But where were you when the children cried out to go back home? Right? Where were you? Children adapt only because they have to, not because they want to. They go along with the situation because that's all they have. But deep down inside a child's psyche, they're not okay with it. But what do the social workers do? They brainwash the children, say your mother is a loser, your dad is a loser, your mom is this, your mom is that. They get the child angry with the mother, thinking the mother abandoned them when it's not true. They build a separation between child and mother. That's not human. That's just stupid. It's just stupid. That's not human. Gina said, my son reported being physically abused by his foster dad to his worker, and she didn't report it. I have since filed a complaint against that foster parent and the worker, and nothing is being done. Other than another worker apologized on behalf of her co-worker, I told the supervisor that I don't care whether that worker is no longer works there anymore. I am filing a criminal charges against that worker as she failed to protect my son. And here I sit still without my children. They've been in. I didn't see the rest, Gina, but whatever social worker that you reported to and no longer there, she didn't get fired, baby girl. She just went to another department. Very hard to fire a social worker. And they're not doing anything. And they're not going to do anything. In my show on Fight CPS with Miss G, I spoke about a child. And the child was beaten to death by the foster mother. There was 11 reports made against her. And not one social worker said it was found on. However, they said it's unfounded. 11 reports. The child was bruised. She was beaten. She was 3 years old. And the child died from the impact of the foster mother beating her to death. And why is the report unfounded? Because the foster mother is the social worker's family. They have close ties. That's the reality of this shit. Because they can do whatever they want. They're not treating the mother at all as she has rights. They are treating the mother as a criminal. You're better off in a criminal court than you are in a CPS court. Because with CPS, social workers, and juvenile courts, you are guilty and not proven innocent. See, the law says you're innocent until proven guilty. But with them, you're guilty and not proven innocent. Because they lie, manipulate, make up stories, and they go on and on and on. You tell a judge that the report is incorrect. As a parent, you're telling the judge the report is incorrect. Why? Because of A, B, C, D, and then you go on and on and on. The judge will not even let you go beyond beyond A. You might say one word, but then the judge will shut you up. I've seen attorneys go in court and the judge is actually against the mom. And it's all false accusations. The attorney has evidence that the report is incorrect and is one-sided. And evidence of the mother, of her character, of who she is, of how great she is as a mom, has proof. And the judges don't want to see it. Or the court appointed attorneys don't want to submit it to court. Because they believe the social workers. So I have no respect for any social worker. Not even the ones that retired or the ones that whatever came to the realization that they're now okay. They understand how it is because they're parents. Because I still go back to when they were social workers. What did you do? Those kids cannot get their lives back because of your doing, because of your lies, because of you making up stories for your own gain. Alexis said, my husband suffered from PTSD and recently shot himself in our garage. I'm so sorry, Alexis. CPS came in and blamed me for it. Wow. They said, me being a nurse, I should have known he was suicidal and done something about it. They stole my children and put them straight into foster care and threw away my list of family members I wanted them to go to. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Oh my God, Alexis. I am so sorry, baby girl, about your husband. And I'm so sorry about those scumbags. I'm very sorry. This is exactly why I said what I said earlier. They are scumbags. How would you know your husband is going to commit suicide? Just because you're a nurse, it doesn't mean you're a psychiatrist, right? You being a nurse, being a mom, being a wife, you had no idea. Instead of leaving the children with you and act human, they act the opposite. They remove the children. Why? And not place them with your family. It's all about funding. Being a social worker is about control and power. That's all they are. Control and power. The power to do anything they want. And they're not being held accountable for it at all. Okay. I hate hearing stories like this because I deal with them daily, working for Mr. Davis. And I become so compassionate towards moms because of what they go through. I don't, the best thing to do is actually start thinking and focusing on to voting. The best thing to do also is not to give up on the fight for your children. And Alexis, I would love to hear from you. If you can call me one-on-one, just me and you. My direct number for work, or you can call me at the 888 number and ask for Georgette Truan, or you can text me at 626-631-8901. Please text me your name, and as soon as I see your text, I will call you. I would like to discuss your case more and more with you one-on-one. Alexa said she will never give up. I didn't think you would, baby girl. Mothers don't usually give up on their children at all. Shakitha Hicks said, Miss G, the gal in my case told the judge that my daughter couldn't see me because she's afraid of me, and that she saw a car similar to mine and had a meltdown. Funny, right? Me, her lying, grandmother, and her uncle all have the same exact car, a white Altima with tinted windows. And I'm sure, Shakitha, that you proved that you have the same exact cars, I'm assuming, and they didn't care to hear or see the evidence. We're not dealing with normal, you guys. We're dealing with demonic entity. The devil's purpose is to divide. The devil's purpose is not to reunite. The devil is to divide and conquer. The same behavior with social workers. Same behavior. They laugh when you're crying over your children. They lie on reports. They make up stories. They say they tried to contact you and you refused to communicate with them. They say that you refused drug testing when there was no reason for drug testing. You refused this, you refused that. They even take you to their own facility to do a drug test, right? If you do a drug test independently with the hospital, they don't want to take it if it's negative, right? But all of a sudden you go to their facility and somehow you're on meth. Huh? I had a client that said to me, I didn't even know what meth was. She went to do a hair follicle. She paid for a hair follicle. And it was negative. But all of a sudden, the social workers tells her, no, you have to go to our own facility and do the drug testing. She goes and it's positive. What? I mean, how demonic can they be? So their facility is actually in contact, in cahoots with them. That's the only explanation I have. They're bankrupt from themselves. They do everything maliciously to gain what they want. Nothing they do is legit. I don't care, like I said, if you are a previous social worker and you came to the realization or not, you're still a scumbag in my eyes. In my book, you're still one because you allowed it to happen all the other years past. So I really have no respect for them. Gina said, my condolences to Alexis. Her children lost two parents now because of CPS. You're absolutely right, Gina. That really broke my heart. I mean, every case I listen to, Shakitha, whether it's Shakitha, Alexis, Monica, Gina, Emily, Casey, all these people are victims. Like Casey said, our social worker is reporting trauma signs showing up in my children since unsupervised visits started. You know why they do that, Casey? Because they allowed you to have unsupervised visits. It's like they give you breadcrumbs. They're giving you breadcrumbs, like a sociopath, narcissist, breadcrumbs, right? Okay, we're going to have now unsupervised visits with a mom. Then they go back and they say, oh, well, the kids are traumatized, right? But you know why the kids are traumatized, you idiots? Not you, Casey, I'm talking about them. It's because you removed the children from their home, from their mom. The only thing they used to, the only thing they know, the love of their mom. So the kids are not traumatized because of the mom. They're traumatized because they're confused. They're in a different environment. They're being told all sort of things about their mom. That's why the kids are traumatized. And they have to, give you the breadcrumbs as unsupervised visits. Then they take that from you when they say the kids are traumatized after the supervised visits. I have seen a mom going through the same thing as you, Casey. And the child was 4 years old. The mother had unsupervised visit. When the child was leaving to go back, the child said, Mommy, don't leave me. Don't leave me, Mommy, with tears. So when the child went back to her dad, who's the abusive party, right? The child was silent and was taken aside in a corner, kind of like, I don't want to be here. But she can't cry for help anymore, right? Because nobody's listening. And then the social worker blamed it on the mom, that she traumatized the child. When in fact, she didn't traumatize the child. All the child wanted was to be with a mother who was good to her. While she is being abused in the abusive home of the same man who calls himself daddy, who beat her mother to near death. Ain't that something? And it goes on and on. And like I said, Casey, every mother I speak with have a story, and their story is really legit. Casey, you're more than welcome to get a hold of me. You can text me your name and I will call you back. I am very sorry that you're dealing with this also. Monica said they love to create division. Monica, I've always loved you watching my shows, and I really respect you because you're really on it all the time. You're absolutely correct. They create division, and that's why I call them scumbags and evil, because only evil does that. Only an evil person would get satisfaction from creating division. It is not normal. You have to be bankrupt from yourself to do such an act, especially to a mother. A mother's love for her children is unconditional love. The mother would make sure the child is fed before she feeds herself. A good mother knows how to care for her children. and wants to do the best for her children. And when they take children from good homes, it's because their intent is to get them adopted. The whole focus on this is not family reunification, is to get the children adopted. And that's why they do what they do. This, you guys, it just makes me very angry inside and sad, because nothing they do is right. Nothing. Kathy Jackson Lewis said, luckily my daughter and us have the kids, but we keep fighting them for her to get them back. My granddaughter got in some trouble 3 years ago, but is doing great now, but not in their eyes. Honey, as long as they have control over you and your daughter, your grandkids, that's all they want. They will never be good. Your daughter will never be good enough for them. They act like God on earth, but not my God. Okay, the devil is considered a God too. You know, um, it is disgusting to me. Disgusting. Social workers act like they're psychiatrists. They act like they're the freaking law. They act like they're above everybody. That's because they're given that. They have that. And judges, like I said, they don't care. They don't care. Monica said, our own attorney general that we pay for persecuted us way to use our taxpayers' dollars. Yes, Monica. They don't work for you, baby girl. They don't do anything for you or your children. They all together. Attorney general, social workers, court pretenders, judges, they're all together. All of them. You know, you can't divide a house against itself, because if you do divide a house against itself, it's not going to stand. So they're not going to go against each other. I have seen a social worker, right? Her, if she has a report against her, guess what? They're going to side with the social worker because she's one of them, right? She's one of them. So they're going to protect her. But a normal person like me, you, Alexis, Kathy, they're not going to protect us. They're not going to side with us because we're nothing to them. We are a number. Kids have a number. Mothers have numbers. Get it? They have a case number for kids, case number for mom. It's already it's divided already. You're separated from your family. And when you're separated from your family, guess what? You're weaker. And that's why oftentimes also they separate your sibling, your sister, the aunt, the uncle, the grandmother. They separate you apart. All of these people that work in the government are useless. I'm seriously useless. And one day the people are just gonna get fed up more than they are right now, and something will be done. But right now, voting is the only option, and taking it, straight to the federal level, like Mr. Davis says, after you tried everything else. The state is not going to help you, unfortunately. Sydney Rodriguez said, I ran into my social worker yesterday when I was filing a court form, and she denied who she was and pretended she didn't know me. Yes, Sydney, I am sure she's done that. Like what I say before, they're cowards. They're cowards. They're useless. Sydney said they should make us take these classes while we are pregnant. I'm not sure what you mean by the classes when you are pregnant. If you can just like maybe clarify that for me. Sydney Rodriguez said it's almost like they look as the foster parent or resource parents, as they call it, an advantage or better because they take all these classes parents don't take. Oh, now I get it now, Sydney. Okay. They do send parents to classes. Okay. Not foster parent classes, of course, but they do send parents to take classes like domestic violence classes, parenting classes, substance abuse classes, and so forth, right? And what I see happen is that they tell the parents, if you do all these classes, you're going to get reunified with your kids, right? We have a parent that never done drugs in her life, never doesn't drink, right? And she's a great mom, but they're having her do drug classes. It blows my mind. Why? Right? She was in a domestic violence and she reported it. They took her kids and they placed the kids with the dad. Now she's the one who's doing the classes, telling the father he's not doing any classes. He beat her and told the father not to do the classes, and she is the one that has to do the classes. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. But what they do, they tell the mother, oh yeah, do the classes, blah, 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 blah. Then you're going to get reunified with your kids. And then after all the classes she's done, then they tell her, oh, we don't believe that you're changed. So what we're going to do is give you another 6 months of classes. Then the 6 months passes, and then the judge makes this decision that the kids are now in a different school with their dad, and they are reluctant to move the kids from their dad's custody. And it works the other way around too if they're in a foster home. The judges will say they're accustomed to they're used to the foster parents. We don't want to move them from the foster parents because it will traumatize the kids. And that's what I've been saying all along. They traumatize the kids from the day they move the children from the mom's custody. Because they're traumatized. But you don't want to traumatize them? Taking them from the foster family back into the mother's custody? Are you kidding me right now? How is that even logical? It's not, is it? It's disgusting. That's what they are. Okay, so we have another Shakita. She said, haven't heard from my kids in 7 months. Last night, my daughter downloaded an app and sent me 6 messages asking me to please answer her call because she really misses me. Oh my God. She's totally unaware that CPS has said that she doesn't want to see me and that she can't attend the visits with me and the other children. Oh my God, Shakita. Okay. I'm glad you said that, baby girl. Like I said earlier, Shakita, what they do is they divide the families apart. They tell lies to the kids. They lie to the kids and say your mom doesn't want to see you. They go to the mom and say the children don't want to see you. They don't want to visit with you. They create a division to gain what they want. Who other does that is the devil. What does the devil do? Create, divide, 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 divide. That's what they do. I have seen, like I said, I have heard from kids who are 13, 12, 11, 15 saying the same thing. The social worker told them your mom doesn't want to visit. The social worker tells them your mom is not a good mom. The social worker told them that their mom don't want to see them again. Their mom gave up her rights to you. They go to the mom and say the kids don't want to see you. The kids don't want to be with you. The kids, the kids, the kids. There is no proof other than what they say. That's why in previous shows I've done, I always say they should be enforced to wear body cameras when they speak to children. They should be forced to wear body cameras when they go inspect a home. They need to wear body cams. Cops are doing it, yet social workers are not doing it. Why isn't that happening? Why do they have that much power? They actually have more power than a police officer, which it disgusts me. I hear oftentimes people say defund the police, defund the police. I love the police because they're to protect us. Just because there's a bad apple or two or three, that doesn't make all cops bad cops. However, CPS, there's not one good apple. Not one. Not even one good person at CPS. They're stupid. And the definition of stupid, hearing the truth, seeing evidence of the truth, but you still believe a lie. You still believe a lie. You take children based on lies, false allegations. That's done maliciously. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Sandra even just said it. They lie, that's why. They lie. Their whole career is based on lies. I last week, my best friend, she said to me, she said, Georgette, let's go out. I said, I'm really busy. I can't do it today, right? She said, okay, we'll come to you. She brought a friend with her. Her friend is a social worker. She's like, oh, that's my friend so-and-so. She's a social worker, blah, blah, blah. I looked at her straight to her face and I said, you can stay, to my friend. I said, but you have to leave. She looked at me stunned. She was stunned. She couldn't believe I said that. And my best friend looked at me and she's like, what happened? I said, I will explain it later. I looked at her friend, the social worker, and I said, get out of my house immediately. I have zero trust, zero respect for any of them. And I told my friend, I would never, ever, if I known she's a social worker, I would never have you bring her to my house. Because none of them, they're not even worth my time. Her existence in that 2 minutes she was there is not worth my time. It was a waste of time. Sandra Ram said, I love you. SW are all scums. They are evil. That is correct, baby girl. So don't believe it when you hear a social worker say, oh yeah, I came to the realization that, all the things I was doing was evil to begin with. Why all of the realization now? Because you're a mom? Because you're a dad? And you realize now? But what are the motives behind it now? What are you trying to do? Make a name of yourself? Make a difference? Are you really making a difference? Or is it just a show? I don't believe it. I never will believe it. And that's how I feel. I don't trust them. And I never will. And I have no respect for them. And by now, they should all know that. I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm not embarrassed to say it. And I'm not scared to say it. Sandra said, my poor grandchild is 3. Just removed her to another foster home, not even looking at all our family members that can take her. I think I already spoke about that, Sandra. They make more funding, baby girl, by adopting the children. They're not going to consider family placement, right? They make it very hard, even though that's the law. The law is family comes first. Mr. Davis always says family comes first. Family placement comes first. But they will find 101 reasons why they don't want to place the children with family. They will find it. And they do. Because they make up stories. And that's what I said. Judges believe them. And if a judge believes them, right, they say the judge makes the final decision. No, the judge doesn't make the final decision. CPS makes the final decision. The judges should make the final decision when they review the report, right? Pay attention. They should request evidence. They should request information, right, from the parent. If they have evidence to prove otherwise, that the social worker lied, the judges should pay attention to those evidence. But they don't. So who has the decision making? Is the social worker. Because the judge listens to the social workers. And the judge puts the trust in them. Huh, really? We have freedom in this country? No. You know how it is when they say, plead the fifth. Really? If you do that with a social worker, guess what? They're going to put on the report, failed to cooperate. Failed to cooperate. You have the right to have a drug test or not, choose to have a drug test or not. However, if you don't want to do it, they're going to say positive. We have no rights. They say we do, but where's our rights? Where's our rights as a mom? Where? Sandra said it's all scripted in court. That seems to me. Yes, baby girl, it's all scripted. That's it. And the shitty part about this is that I called juvenile courts a whorehouse. That's what I call it. Because there's nothing right about this courts. Nothing. I have seen social workers go to a home while they're celebrating Christmas, opening up presents, and they remove the children from a good home, by the way. Why? Because they received an anonymous report from a teacher that while the kids were doing home study, she saw a gun behind the child. You know, like on the computer when they do like homeschooling, she saw a gun. The gun that she saw was a plastic gun. It was a plastic gun that kids play with. But she reported to CPS. When the mom showed CPS that day, they were opening Christmas presents. She said, oh no, we don't have guns here. But the one she's probably talking about is this one. She showed the social worker the gun, which was plastic. And they still took her kids on Christmas Day when they were opening the presents. I will never forget this lady. They even had the video on, opening the presents. We're talking about a big house. You know, they had the mom and dad have their own house. You know, they don't have a small apartment. It was like 5-bedroom, 2-story home, and they're opening presents. The kids are happy, happy, excited, and the parents on the video, I can hear the video. The parents are like, you know, crying from the kids being happy, like they were just happy tears because her son is so excited because he got a bike. And I saw the video, I started crying. And the worker was there like a scumbag, right? Smiling while the kids refused to go with her. And the mother and the dad tried to intervene. Like, what are you doing? Like, what do you mean you're going to take our kids because of a plastic gun? Where's the court order? Where's this? Where's that? The social worker left, went, got 3 officers with her on Christmas Day to remove the children. And the kids refused to go, but they forced them because of a plastic gun that was told is a real gun. Isn't that ironic? Shakitha said, my case is heading to trial in December. They have refused to turn over body cam footage of my actual arrest. You know why? Because the cops lied about injuries on my son and used that injury to get a probable cause arrest without a warrant. Soon as I was arrested, they took my kids on fabricated evidence, and CPS knew that my son had no injuries and knew this, the cop lied. Honey, CPS lies all the time. If they knew the cops lied, they're not going to do anything. But Shakitha, I would like to speak with you more about this. So if you can just text me your information, I will be happy to speak with you. I'm sorry, everyone, but the show is coming to an end. Actually, we're actually over 2 minutes and a half on the show. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for hearing me out. My shows are usually on Wednesdays. It's Relatives Fight CPS and Fight CPS with Miss G and Fight CPS with Miss G Freestyle. I speak my mind in all my shows. I don't have a filtered mouth, and I'm not about to have one anytime soon. The truth has to come out. People should come out and speak their mind because that is our rights to speak our mind and to stand up for what is right. This is not about a popularity show. This is about CPS and their vindictive actions and their malicious ways of stealing children from good parents. I love you guys. I'm sorry about what you're going through. I sympathize. And if you need me, you know how to get a hold of me. And God bless you all. And I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.